Yo, what's good, y'all? You know what it is. It's your boy D, and we got an ex pickup artist. He's reacting to some modern dating advice. I'm not even gonna lie, he dropped some real good knowledge, man. We gonna get into it.
With LMS. Do you know what that is?
No.
Lux Money Status.
Wait, it makes sense. Okay.
So it's the triage priority list that a lot of guys in the Black Pill movement rely on and say is most important. Lux is most important, then money, then status.
For men,
Yes, for men. What's your thoughts?
my thoughts is it's like it's a sad way to think.
That's like the main thing these days is you have to have your money together before you can even get out there and date. Even there's so much advice around, yeah, man, you shouldn't date until you got all your stuff together. And the guys are starting to adopt this culture of like not dating until they're financially stable, which is kind of like a double-edged sword, but it can hurt you and it can also help you at the same time. But you got to kind of find that balance.
It's a sad way to think. And I guess like I'm just kind of thinking out loud. I got a bunch of thoughts on the stuff you're saying. But to speak back to your what you were saying about what it's like to be someone. I think mostly we're all living our own stories of what it's like, and I think like if you choose to see the best in people, you're gonna notice the best behavior. If you choose to see the worst in people, you're gonna notice the worst behavior. And I think it starts with the eyes you're seeing the world through. Uh, and so down to looks, money, status. I would probably. I think they got it wrong. I think that there's that. And how would they define
Mm.
status? I guess I'll ask you.
I wouldn't be too sure. I would guess something like popularity.
Right.
Um,
So I would say it's high status behaviors. And I mean, I know this because I went and hacked it in the game, right? As a guy who is not that good looking, um, as a guy like who,
Yo, that's a good point. High status behavior, as in what you bring with your attitude, other than, yo, what do you bring in when it comes to financials? Just because you got money doesn't mean that you high status. There's guys that they got money, but they can't even hold a conversation with a chick because they're leading with the money, the money, the money, the money. Hey, my car, my house, my job. So it's like, are you really high status? It's something to really think about, yo, as a dude, even as a woman.
at least at that time, didn't have any like wasn't someone recognized, didn't have a lot, didn't have status, didn't have money, didn't have looks, didn't have fame. We realized, and I also was a guy who once I wrote the game, I had the people with the most looks, the most money, the most status calling me like this fucking 5'6" big nose, you know, dude who keeps saying and can't even articulate a really clean sentence,
Mm.
calling me for advice. The same shit I thought I was alone dealing with, they were dealing with the same thing. And I think it really goes down to like how you're the story you tell yourself more than money, looks, and status, and then how you reflect that story.
hmm.
As a simple example, I've seen a lot of people with money, looks, and status engage in low status behaviors, meaning being insecure, being doubtful, not caring themselves.
Yo, that dude just said it. Man, yo, this is something that nobody really speaks about because, as I said before, you can have the money, you can have the looks, you can have the job, but some people, they don't have any values. Yo, they don't have any manners. They don't even know how to say thank you or please. Low status, yo, people of high status, from what I believe, they know how to conduct themselves in a room with anybody. They know how to move. If you really want to call yourself high status, I think you need to be able to blend in anywhere and give people a good vibe, not just people that you think you should be surrounding yourself with or people you think are worthy of you, you know? You should be able to make everybody feel comfortable and then still be sure of yourself.
Well, not speaking, just always being worried about what others thinking about them, and whatever those gained for them, they lost it. There's a line. There's like a troubadour poem that's something about the when they were first sort of talking about making romance into art. Uh, in that era, that's like the eyes go forth to seek an image which they can then recommend to the heart. And so I think the money, looks, and status like might get your foot in the door, but after that, it's who you are that enables you to stay in that door, unless you're dealing with someone who has similarly low self-esteem, right? And it's just out there.
Yo, and I know I'm pausing a lot, but yo, this is something that I thought about. I thought about, people who they say, "Oh, I want to get myself together. I want to figure myself out." 10 times out of 10, that really just has to do with financials. Like they want to get the right job, they want to get a house, or they want to get something of value to them, before they start really taking anything serious of dating. And basically what I wanted to say was that he's saying that money, status, looks gets your foot in the door, right? But it's who you are that's going to keep you in. So it's like a lot of these people, it's almost like they get in the door, but then they don't realize, I've been working on myself all this time financially, but have you been working on yourself emotionally? Can you hold a conversation? Do you have emotional intelligence? Can you talk to somebody and pick them up when they're down? Are you someone with charisma, someone that is inviting? All these things make you someone who somebody else is going to want to be with.
They're looking for a target who has those things because they've got their own wounds. They feel like that gives them safety.
I think
let's go. Sorry, go ahead.
Just one of the interesting reflections that a lot of friends who maybe in the early 2010s were trying to do game and pickup and day game and stuff like that, what they realized was they became quite disenchanted, I think, with the world of dating, because they saw what they needed to do in order to be attractive to women, and then realized the distance that was from who they really were, or what they thought they needed to do in order to be attractive to women, and realized that I can get what I want, but what I want doesn't actually see me. And that distance between the two of I'm having to tell them about the midget fight outside and do my Kino escalation and ignore and do all the rest of this stuff, that I think caused a lot of them to become very disenfranchised and disenchanted with the world of dating.
Yeah, a couple thoughts, and to go back. So again, these are like the stories we tell ourselves. Like I think that there's a learning process, and maybe you learn. If I look back on the game, there's so many different issues around it, negative and positive and everything else. But I see it as a lot of sort of neurodivergent people trying to learn how to socially interact, including myself.
Damn.
Right.
Yep.
And so for me, I needed those little, I didn't know, just tell me what to say and like how to angle my body. I was so uncomfortable around people. And then once I learned.
Yo, it seems like such a small issue, but it's so big within the community of dating. Just regular body language of being out and being able to start a conversation, being able to go up to a girl or a guy and present yourself in a way that's appealing. It's crazy, man. Like just like he said, just having like social cues and being somebody that your body language is inviting for people to have a conversation with you. This is missing. All these things are missing. Like these little not even tricks, but these little skills that you have to have. Nobody has them. It's just focused on my money, my looks, my status. Shame.
Learned it, that I could let it go the same way you learn anything, which is sort of learning the rules and then throwing them out.
Yep.
So second, I got 3 points to make. Again, these topics are so interesting, right? Second thought is that another perspective on the LMS thing you said, which the second perspective is people don't know what they want. So what they want are the things behind that. So a way to think about, for example, it used to really hurt my self-esteem when I read personal ads and everyone wanted a guy who was 6 feet and taller. How tall are you?
5'10".
Okay, that's great, right? I'm 5'6", maybe 5'6.5" at a stretch, right? And it took me a long time to realize that it wasn't height that they were looking for. What they were looking for was safety. I want to feel when maybe what is, let's just say, what does money represent? Money represents that some degree of security,
Competence.
and competence. That was the word I was looking for. Exactly, competence. So if you look at the reasons underneath these and you embody the reasons underneath these, which anybody can do, the other stuff doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think that's where the sort of disenchantment came from, which was not feeling like you had the actual foundation, realizing that you could create the glitzy sort of mystique. Like, you do not need to see how much money I have. You do not need to see how much money I have. And then going, oh, I can get what I want by pretending to play this game. And deep down, I still don't feel like I'm worthy of it. I don't think that they see me. What they see is this persona.
As soon as you're saying, I don't want you to know how little money I have, you're like the influencer we were talking about earlier who's promoting a vegan diet while eating meat for dinner. You're creating a split in yourself. So here's the other thing you were talking about is, I think these people you're talking about, the concept of locus of control. Like, there's external locus of control and internal locus of control, and I'm probably gonna get these wrong, so apologies if I do. So the idea is, like, are the things that are happening to me the fault of others outside myself, which is a nice thing to believe, right? It's just women are like that, thus I'm opting out. Men are like that, thus I'm just not dealing with that. The world, and so we're just saying, we're creating this it's everybody else's fault, so I don't have to change. I can just hate on them, right? Or
Man, you have to fight. In this day and age, man, you gotta fight, man. You gotta get out of your own way. There's no way that you can look at the situation that we're in right now. The dating game it is what it is. I'm not gonna say it's good or bad, but you have to adjust, adapt, and conquer that shit, because it's not going nowhere. And everybody needs somebody. You have to learn, you have to grow, and you have to find a way, because there's somebody out there. There's somebody out there for you, I swear.
Or B, the way I am and the way I think you are, is that, like, this is going on. How can I do better? How can I change? How can I be better? How can I understand? How can I be empathic? And, like, it's a lot more work, but man, you're a lot happier.
Yeah, I think the benefit, from the cynic's perspective, the benefit of never trying is never having to feel the pain of failure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I came up with this idea called the cynicism safety blanket, which is basically that. That's why it exists. It's sour grapes at an existential level.
Yeah. And so I notice myself, if I ever start to, and I don't even do this anymore because I stopped it. Like, if I ever start thinking something negatively about someone who's successful and start comparing their work to mine and why mine, I just stop instantly. And I just think, what can I learn from that for myself? And, again, most of your listeners, I feel like, are learning, growth-minded people.
Correct,
but I think we can understand that there's certain people, and I've come across them, that if somebody is doing better than you, you can either try to do better or you can try to bring them down to your level. And that's a split in the world. But the people who try to bring them down are the loud voices right now.
Correct.
In the culture.
Yo, being yourself goes a long way. It might seem like such a simple phrase, but if you repeat to yourself when you're out and you just say to yourself, yo, be yourself, it can take you a long way, because all the BS that you have in the back of your mind, whatever you were thinking about saying, kind of goes out the window, which is good, because you never want to put on a front for anybody. Always be yourself, man, no matter what, and it'll take you so much further, because you can only put up a front for so long. Eventually the real is going to leak out. People are going to figure out who you are, and it's going to be even worse than anything that you could imagine. Somebody calling you out on your BS when you could have just been yourself and kept it real. Man, these guys, the dating game is what it is. And I think that a lot of people are insecure of their lack, but sometimes it builds character within you. Like, whatever you're lacking is not always a bad thing. You don't have to have everything in the palm of your hand. Sometimes it's nice to chase something. But hey, guys, I hope you guys liked the video. Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Until next time.